persistence, people saying no, no, and how you need to be persistent. I once read a article in a British newspaper about how many ways the British have of saying no. I was really taken with it because when you work as a philanthropist and you're the gatekeeper for someone else that's going to make the decision, you're figuring out how to say no quite a bit of the time, because if you in philanthropy like First Fruit, you're basically saying we're open for business, we're here to give money, and so you get a lot of requests and pressure and other things like that, and so you get stuck with saying no. And I was just really taken. This guy had 100 ways that the British say no. My favorite was, the Queen wishes me to convey. I thought, wow, there it is. That's the ultimate. It's not on me. The Queen looked this over and she's just not going for it. And that's the ultimate, and you can't deal. But, donors, givers have multiple ways of saying no. They can say no that I'm just not convinced. That's they may not say that word because they feel it's a little harsh. They just may be difficult. There's a lot of discernment and pastoring that goes on in a real fundraising situation to understand what the no is. It could be no, not right now. We've tapped out our resources. One of the things, again, we're doing this during the COVID-19 crisis. This is a very anecdotal survey on my part, but what I'm understanding from the American Evangelical Foundation community, that is institutional givers, is that they're not at this point entertaining new donor, new proposals. Hopefully that's just for a period of time as they want to focus on their existing the organizations that they exist with, and make sure that they can help those organizations carry across what may or may not be a difficult fundraising time for them. And so this is a very challenging time. So getting a no right now from an American evangelical philanthropy might be, try me again next year. I'd be very interested in your work, but I just, we're focusing on who we already know right now. So getting a first gift could be a little more difficult in the American setting. And then there's the no that says, don't ever come back here. May there be a curse on your children's children to the third generation if I ever hear from you again. I have encountered that in my own fundraising in past years. So you just never know where the doors are going to open. We didn't get into on this, but we will, this faith and excellence idea, and this is where it really comes into play. I struggled with this idea of understanding faith and excellence and how to position them together so that you're not saying you're dependent on your expertise in fundraising or dependent on your donors, but your dependency is on God. And as I mentioned in the book, I was talking to my friend Henry Cloud, and I said, I'm puzzled over how to do this. And he says, oh, this is easy. He said, just fly to where the worms are, fly to where the bugs are. And what he was referring to was that scripture that says God provides for the birds of the air. But if you observe birds, and springtime is a great time to observe birds, although I'm not a bird watcher, where I live, we have a variety of birds, all the way from eagles to little robins. And they've got to work hard all day long for their food. Yet the food's there. It swims in the water, it runs on the ground, it's underground as worms. And that is the excellence part. But the faith part is knowing that it's there and that God has provided it. Because if he has called you to a project, if he has called you to a work, if he is encouraging you to think about your own setting, even though in your setting there is no philanthropic tradition, there is very little wealth of any kind, very few Christians. We will be exploring through these times how people have gotten started, not just survived, but thrived in the very circumstances that you're describing.